This video is about the parable of the wedding feast. Um, I'm gonna try to explain it. So I'm gonna start reading it first. There is two versions. There is a version in Matthew 22 and Luke 14. I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna go for the version of Matthew because it's longer and it has some more details. But I'm gonna say a bit about the version of Luke also. Um, so it says in Matthew, Jesus spoke to them again in parables, saying, "The kingdom of heaven is like a king who prepared the wedding banquet for his son. He sent his servants to those who had been invited to the banquet to tell them to come, but they refused to come. Then he sent some more servants and said, tell those who have been invited that I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, and the fattened cattle have been butchered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding banquet." But they paid no attention and went off, one to his field, another to his business. The rest seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. I will go to Luke a bit because in Luke he gives a bit more example of why they didn't come. In Luke, he's like saying that the people answer to the invitation, um, but they all alike began to make excuses. This is Luke 14, verse 18. To make excuses. The first said, I have just bought a field and I must go and see it. Please excuse me. Another said, I have just bought five yoke of oxen and I'm on my way to try them out. Please excuse me. Still another said, I just got married, so I can't come. So the people, it's like, it seems they, at least in the version of Luke, it's like they are not, generally they are in that version, they are not like against the king, they just they have all kind of other things that they care about too much to receive his invitation. The version of Matthew is more hostile, somewhat, like in some of the cases. In the version of Matthew, there is beyond that there is some people that they made excuse why not to come. Some of them, it says they seized his servants, mistreated them, and killed them. So that represents mostly the prophets of God, how that they were treated by ancient Israel, including Yeshua, including who we call Jesus. Although there were other people in history also later, and in other places in the world, in some other contexts, that were mistreated because they said something God wanted them to say, and did some righteous thing and suffered for this and things like this. Like there was someone that for example, that he was burned for translating the Bible to English by the Catholic Church at that point. Anyway, then there was there is that. It's mostly about the ancient Israel in that case, but in the version of Luke, it's not really much related to ancient Israel. The version of Matthew is he's talking to the Pharisees and they get upset. After that is more about the like original Israel and the treatment of God, but it's like the the version of Luke, and I think to some extent Matthew is also. It doesn't only talk about that. It's you see it's. Mostly it's about most cases people they are not against God, and they just care too much about other things to really to seriously enough receive his invitation. Of course, the invitation. What is this invitation in reality? It's not in reality the invitation to the wedding feast or the great banquet is an invitation to live in God's kingdom after this life forever, and to live a great life there. That's like the invitation. So that's you think anyone would accept that, but it's like the same as with the wedding feast. But the people have all kind of other things that they care about too much in the world to bother to come to receive the invitation. And this is you can see the same thing in the parable of the sower with the seeds that fell among thorns, and to some extent the seeds that fell among rocks. It says that I'll read what it says there, that it says it will take me a bit of time to find it. Never mind. The point is that no, it's here. Just a moment. Now the one sown among thorns is the one who hears the word, but the worries of this age and the deceitfulness of wealth choke the word, and it becomes unfruitful. And the one among thorns is like the worry of persecution is what make him give up. So it's like, again, it's like basically it's kind of the same thing with the reasons not to come to the banquet. It's like people care too much about, and it's also the same thing with the rich man. Harder for the richer man to enter the kingdom of heaven than for a camel to go for the eye of the needle is like the same idea. It's like people, the main reason why people don't accept so much this invitation is that they care too much about things in this world, and that they're afraid of some bad consequences here of receiving this invitation. So that is, I think, the main point of this parable. There's also some cases of hostile behavior towards who says God's words or what God wants him to say because of this. And then it's a continuation of this parable is then he says the king was enraged. He sent his army and destroyed those murderers and burned their city. That part is it's both about ancient Israel and what happened to Jerusalem, but I think it's also about like the whole world eventually in judgment, in the final judgment. And then he says to his servants, the wedding banquet is ready, but those I invited did not deserve to come. So go to the street corners and invite to the banquet anyone you find. So that point is the point that basically God says it's not only for the Jews now, it's for all the world, the invitation. Um, and then tu- 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 so the servant went out into the streets and gathered all the people they could find, the bad as well as the good, and the wedding has a hall was filled with guests. In the version of Luke, they don't exactly just fill it with guests like this. They he takes people that are poor people, kind of an afflicted people. He says like. Go out quickly into the street and alleys of the town and bring in the poor, the crippled, the blind, and the lame. This is like to say basically that the people that mm, had a good life or that they had all kind of stuff that they too much care about don't accept the invitation. So basically, the people that do is people, well, there is all kind of reasons, but one of the things that make people accept or not is that if they don't have so much in this world, really, because someone need to even be like to be enough interested in this invitation. People apparently need to have to be in a pretty bad situation in this world, at least at the point that the person accepts the invitation. Later it's gets better, so generally speaking, but it's at least at the point of receiving the invitation, people are like in a low point in their lives generally. And then so yeah, then those people they come, they feel the wedding feast. Mm. But when the king came in to see the guests, he noticed a man there who was not wearing wedding clothes. He asked how did you get in here without wedding clothes, friend? The man was speechless. Then the king told the attendants, I think it's kind of like the guards or something. Tie him hand and foot and throw him outside into the darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are invited, but few are chosen. So this is like to say that you can't just receive this invitation. You need to receive it and come properly. Like, so it's like the one that came with dirty clothes is a bit like someone, as if someone receives this invitation but it doesn't do anything except like receive the invitation. Like, you need to come in a way that God will actually receive you. So it doesn't expect, it doesn't he invited like everyone. He apparently doesn't have too hard condition, but he wants you to at least um, like put on your best clothes, which is like I mean, that guy, he asked him, like, that guy was speechless. That means he couldn't even say, I don't have anything better than this is my finest clothes. Is more, it was apparently more like he just didn't care about the wedding, and he heard there was free food or something, and he came to eat or something like that. And so it's like he expect people to at least to at least like do some kind of decent enough attempt at like at righteousness or something like this to be um, to be accepted, not only to receive the invitation. Um, yeah, and the thing with the many are invited, if you are chosen. This doesn't appear in Luke, so it's not. I don't think it's like the main point of the parable. But it also says that, and it says that in some other places. That's like also true, but I don't think it's like the main point really. Yeah, so that's the idea basically.